The Chicago Bears just dropped a massive bombshell in free agency by snatching Super Bowl champion safety Coby Bryant on a jaw-dropping 3-year, $40 million deal. This completely flips our secondary upside down and heavily signals the absolute end of the line for a highly respected veteran. Let's break down exactly why this explosive move could be the final missing piece for our defense to totally dominate the league. If you are fired up about this massive defensive upgrade, smash that like button, share this with every Bears fan you know, and subscribe right now so you never miss a breaking update. Let's be completely real for a second. When the legal tampering period opened, we all knew the front office was going to be aggressive, but pulling a proven playmaker right out of the Pacific Northwest. That is a massive, league-shaking statement. We are talking about Coby Bryant, a guy fresh off an unbelievable Super Bowl victory out in Santa Clara with the Seattle Seahawks, packing his bags and heading to the Windy City. The raw numbers we are looking at are 3 years and $40 million. I know we are still waiting on the exact guaranteed money to officially leak out, but if I had to put my money on it, we are probably looking at somewhere in the neighborhood of 25 to 30 million fully guaranteed. And let me tell you, I am absolutely ecstatic about this acquisition. It is a certified game-changer for the entire franchise. But I have to ask, does bringing in a high-priced defensive back truly fix all the frustrating coverage breakdowns we agonizingly sat through last season? Think about it closely. We struggled mightily at times last year. We bled crucial yards on third down. We gave up far too many easy completions when the game was on the line and the pass rush couldn't quite get home. Now, we bring in a 26-year-old stud who is just hitting the absolute prime of his athletic career. When you look at what Coby Bryant brings to the table, it is exactly what we have been desperately begging for. He is making around $13 million plus per season, which undeniably is a heavy bag, but you are paying for an elite, flat-out playmaker. Defensive mastermind Dennis Allen and secondary guru Al Harris have a very specific, aggressive vision for how the back end of a defense should operate. They demand ballhawks. They demand guys who can fly around with their hair on fire, read the quarterback's eyes, and take the football away at a moment's notice. Coby Bryant is the absolute poster child for that exact philosophy. We all know he started his career as a hard-nosed cornerback coming out of the Cincinnati Bearcats program, where he was a lockdown defender. But his transition to safety over the last couple of years has been nothing short of spectacular. Playing in that incredibly complex Mike Macdonald defensive scheme over in Seattle, Bryant elevated his game to an entirely new stratosphere. Sure, he might weigh in at about 195 pounds, which some lazy critics might call slightly undersized for a traditional, thumping strong safety. But do not let that fool you for a single second. The man is a completely fearless and willing tackler in the open field who will happily stick his nose in the run game. What really jumps off the film, though, is the insane ball production. We are talking about 7 pass breakups from the safety position, 4 critical interceptions, and a forced fumble just to top it all off. In the last 2 years alone, since making the full-time switch to safety, he has snatched 7 picks. That is the kind of game-altering production you simply do not find walking on the street. When you dive into the advanced coverage statistics, the picture gets even brighter. Opposing quarterbacks had a miserable passer rating under 80 when targeting him last year. He surrendered a measly 2 total touchdowns as a primary safety. He brings a cornerback's fluid hips and elite man-to-man coverage skills right into the safety room. He can easily slide down and play the nickel spot in a pinch if the injury bug bites us. That unparalleled versatility is exactly what this defensive coaching staff craves. Seattle desperately wanted to keep him. They were negotiating right up to the final hour, but we came over the top with a stronger offer and stole an absolute stud. Now, we have to talk about the massive elephant in the room, because this addition sends immediate shockwaves through the rest of the locker room. What does this mean for the veterans we already have? This brings me to our question of the day, and I want you to head down to the comments right now and let me know your brutal, honest truth. Do you think signing Coby Bryant means the definitive, unquestioned end of the Kevin Byard era in Chicago? Sound off in the comments below. Personally, I think the writing is completely on the wall. You do not hand a guy $40 million over 3 years to have him split reps or sit on the bench, And you definitely do not do it if you plan on bringing back Kevin Byard on a massive cap number. It hurts to say, because Byard has been a phenomenal presence and a true professional, but I firmly believe he is gone unless he is willing to take a humongous hometown discount, which is highly unlikely in this market. Jaquan Brisker is already heading out the door, and Byard is practically right behind him. That means Coby Bryant is walking into Halas Hall as your undisputed starting free safety, your deep center fielder who can erase mistakes over the top and quarterback the entire secondary. If we lose Byard, it definitely stings the heart a little bit. But let us look at the cold, hard reality of the NFL. This is a young man's game. Kevin Byard is heading into his age 33 season. If he is demanding money anywhere near the stratosphere of what Coby Bryant just got, you take the younger guy 10 times out of 10. Bryant is 6 years younger. He still has untapped potential and room to grow in this league. He knows what it takes to reach the absolute pinnacle of the sport. He just hoisted the Lombardi Trophy coming from arguably the most dominant defense in all of football. He brings that championship pedigree, that swagger, and that unshakable expectation of greatness directly into our locker room. So, with Bryant locking down one safety spot, how do we fill the other void? We could scour the bargain bin for a cheap veteran to patch the hole, but honestly, the upcoming NFL draft is incredibly rich with top-tier safety talent. We have talked extensively about guys who could perfectly complement Bryant's unique skill set. Look no further than A.J. Halsey coming out of LSU. Talk about a flawless fit. You pair a big, physical, tone-setting safety who can also handle complex coverage assignments right next to a versatile ball hawk like Bryant, and suddenly you have a nightmare scenario for opposing offenses. Halsey feels like the ultimate Day 2 draft target to solidify this secondary for the next half-decade. But the front office has not just been focusing on the secondary. Let us take a step back and appreciate the absolute masterclass of roster building happening right before our eyes in these opening days of free agency. The trenches were a glaring issue, especially after the sudden and heartbreaking retirement of Drew Dalman. But the front office did not panic. Instead, they executed a brilliant trade just a few days ago to acquire veteran center Garrett Bradbury. That completely plugs the gaping hole in the middle of the offensive line with a proven, hard-nosed competitor who knows this division inside and out. And the depth moves. They have been equally as impressive and crucial to our long-term success. We are bringing back Daniel Hardy on a 2-year, $6 million contract. You absolutely need guys like Hardy on a championship roster. He is an absolute menace on special teams, the kind of core player who wins you the hidden yardage battle every single Sunday. Then you look at the linebacker room. DeMarco Jackson is returning on a 2-year deal worth $7.5 million, with reachable incentives that could push it over $10 million. There is a very real possibility that Jackson steps up and claims a full-time starting linebacker role this season. If he does, that contract is going to look like the steal of the century. Do not forget the defensive line either. Bringing in Neville Gallimore on a 2-year, $12 million pact adds serious, unmovable beef to the interior rotation. He racked up 3.5 sacks last season and provides that crucial push up the middle that forces the pocket to collapse and frees up our edge rushers to absolutely feast on quarterbacks. We know how vital rotational defensive tackles are in keeping the whole unit fresh for the fourth quarter. But without a shadow of a doubt, the crown jewel of day one is Coby Bryant. 3 years. $40 million. A shiny Super Bowl ring on his finger, and elite ball production firmly on his resume. He brings the exact type of swagger, speed, and turnover-creating magic that our defense desperately needs to take that final leap from good to utterly terrifying. The defense led the league in takeaways last year, but we needed to get faster. We needed to get younger. We needed to get significantly more athletic on the back end to hang with the elite offenses in this league. This signing checks every single one of those boxes with permanent ink. The excitement around this team right now is absolutely palpable. The roster is being methodically constructed with a clear, vicious, and uncompromising identity. We are building a suffocating defense that will not just stop you, but will completely demoralize you and take the football away. Welcome to Chicago, Coby Bryant. We are beyond ready to see you ball out and bring that championship energy to Soldier Field.